Do the call to order, please.
I'd like to call this evening's April 1st, 2025 Township Committee meeting to order. Sunshine statement is, please be advised, tonight's meeting has been advertised and published as it's required under the Open Public Record Act, Meeting Act. I'll
Thank
ask
you.
For the pledge.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shamong Township Committee meeting of April 1st. We're happy that you're here. We'd ask the Girl Scouts to come to the front and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Come on up front, girls, by the flag. Let's hear your loudest voices. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Girls, can you come on up front here, up on the dais? So I'm very pleased to and introduce yourself if you would. Come on. You are?
Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Sadie.
Hi, Sadie.
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Ladies, welcome. Thank you very much. I understand that you have a project for Troop 23-156 and that you're looking to create a pollinator garden at the Indian Mills Lake Boat Ramp. Can you tell us anything about that?
We're the Junior Girl Scout 23156. Troop of 19 fifth graders at Indian Mills Memorial School in Shamong. Our purpose for attending tonight's Township Committee meeting is to get permission to plant our pollinator garden for our Bronze Award. A Bronze Award is the highest award you can earn as a Junior Girl Scout. It requires us to work together as a team, identify an issue impact our community, plan a solution, and take action to address the issue.
Perfect. More of the girls, come on up. Hi, do you want to introduce yourself, please? Emma, nice to see you, Emma.
Choosing to plant a pollinator garden for our Bronze Award project. Pollination is important to our local ecosystem. It is essential for the production of seeds and fruit in local plants. Seeds promote further plant life, and fruit serves as a food source for local wildlife. Pollinators are currently in decline of population growth, causing habitat loss. We chose to do a pollinator garden for a project to combat habitat loss and give pollinators a place to pollinate. One of our tenets of our Girl Scout law is to make the world a better place, and we think planting a garden is one way we could do that.
Some of the steps we have taken so far to include choosing a spot to plant our garden. We've researched plants that would do well in our environment and attract pollinators. We invited a guest speaker, Jen
Good.
a senior parks naturalist from the Burlington County Park System, to share her knowledge of pollinator gardens and speak to us about our project. From Jen, we learned pollinators see yellow and white flowers best, while reds and oranges are more difficult for them to see.
Some of the steps we have taken, we choose the Indian Mills Lake Boat Ramp as our target location to plant our garden. The next area to take the ramp has enough sunlight during the day to keep our garden healthy, and it is close to water source, being next to the lake. It's also an area that could be enjoyed for our fellow community members visiting the lake. To fill our garden, we chose plants such as milkweed, asters, lavender, woodland, sunflowers, butterfly bushes, and hostas. Our next steps include gaining permission from this committee to move forward with our project, fundraising, creating a budget, finalizing our plant sections, and of course, planting our garden. We hope you appreciate the work we've done so far on this project, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Okay, great. Young ladies, how old are you? 10 and 11? Anybody out here could do this at 10 and 11 other than our solicitor?
Well, we're very excited. We're always happy when the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts come in to see us. I think this is a great project, and I think you're going to get unanimous support from everybody here on the board.
Any of the moms or leaders would like to say anything? Okay,
Yeah, the girls did a nice job.
they did a great job.
Ladies, thank you very much. I think you'll get a good vote coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing it, okay? Give me a round of applause for them. Moms, you want to take a picture of them, or you already got them? Everybody on the board, stay up here too. All right, let's go, Ron, get up there. You get in, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls. We'll look forward to your project. What's the most important insect on the earth, do you think? Bees, yeah, the bees are awesome, so thank you, girls. Come back and visit us again. Moms, you don't need to stay. You can stay as long as you like, but we won't be offended. I know it's a school night. And tomorrow you girls have off, right? Did you know that? Oh, April Fools. Thank you, girls. Okay, next we're going to open the meeting up to public comment. And I will say that Lieutenant is here with us from the barracks up at Red Lion. So we'll let him also make a presentation if there's any related comments and bring you up to speed on what's been happening at one of our neighborhoods. So with that said, welcome to everyone. It's nice to see you. Anybody that wants to come up and speak, just say your name, where you live, and you will be heard. That's a big sigh. That's a big sigh, Chris.
Chris Thomas, 8 Woodgate Drive, so that everybody's aware. All the patience is gone. I asked last month, don't forget about us. I can't tell you how forgotten we feel. We're talking about a situation where individuals are wrapped in blankets in the street, in the woods, passed out. We are talking about burning carpet, plastic, trash. You can't sit in your own backyard. We are talking about a township zoning officer that has no problem telling us in the hallway that the reason things aren't being done is my fault. My fault. Stopping by my house, telling me that I shouldn't in any way hope for anything to happen for not days, not weeks, months. My taxes pay his salary. I am forgotten. You know what I don't forget? Pay my taxes. You know what I don't forget? To vote. I didn't forget to stay here since I was a kid. I'm starting to forget to want to even be here. The troopers at Red Line Barracks have a lot to deal with, from teenagers learning how to drive, fires, medical emergencies, keeping our town safe. And when we dial 911, I feel like those efforts are being taken from them each and every day. So we call the non-emergency line. We call the barracks, and you can hear in their voices, they are tired. They are protecting, they are serving. And here I am, and here are so many others from our neighborhood saying, listen, I hate to be a bothersome, but you got ATVs ripping down the road. I hate to be bothersome, you got people passed out in the street. I hate to be bothersome, you have fires at 4 a.m. with 10-foot flames. 30-mile-an-hour winds. We all saw the weather. 30-mile-an-hour gusts last night. Pouring down rain, doesn't stop anything. I asked last month, drive by my neighborhood. Don't drive by when it's convenient for you. Drive by when it's convenient for all of us to have our neighborhood ruined. Drive by at 4 a.m. Drive by at 2 a.m. Please. The tone has changed since September. Now there's 2 houses for sale. Knock on the door, ask them why they're leaving. That house. Yeah, you'll get your tax revenue when a new person moves in, but you lost a legacy resident. That's a bad look. Broken promises will be unacceptable. Please follow through. Please do not forget about Woodgate Drive. I read the Pinelands Tribune. Took me 45 minutes to read it. Lots of words, lots of emotion. Nothing's done. I've talked to the officers. The lieutenant was kind enough to come 2 months ago, and I very much thank him. It's a problem when the residents feel forgotten by the elected officials. Please do not allow us to feel that way anymore. I don't have an answer, except for the fact the frustration has reached a point where now individuals are desperate to move out of this neighborhood, are desperate to start taking different forms of action. We have no problem as a township finding for plastic sheds, finding for boats. I get it, it's changed. Finding for RVs, I get it, it's changed. You know what hasn't changed? The situation on Woodgate Drive. You know what hasn't changed? ATVs ripping down sandstone in Ironwood. You know what hasn't changed? The frustration. You know what hasn't changed? That is what Indian Mills is supposed to be. Coming to Township Committee and listening to those who are trying to serve our community. So I boldly say, take a page from these young ladies. Please. I'd hate to see their bees and their little garden go to waste because we're still dealing with things like this in my neighborhood.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else? Good evening.
Hi, I'm Laurel Ballantyne. I live on 3 Sandstone Court. I'm 2 houses away from Chris's house and the house on the hill, which is what all of us refer to it as. First, I support everything that Chris says. Second, yes, I'm one of those people for an 8x8 shed that was color coordinated with my house, a plastic stupid shed that I had to move. My husband broke his foot, so we were not allowed to have an extension unless we paid $50, which is ridiculous. So we moved the shed on time, but the neighbor's house is a junkyard. It's an eyesore, and there's an elderly couple who were planning to move this spring, and they are hesitating putting their house up for sale because they know it's going to trash their property value. In addition, I want to say my neighborhood's not really safe. There's an awful lot of problems from the house on the hill. There's a lot of shady characters there at all hours of the night. You know, I remember to set my alarm and make sure my video cameras are on because I don't know if they're going to come rob my house when I'm not there. This isn't the kind of neighborhood that I have lived in all these years. And my husband grew up in this town too. So it's disappointing that nothing is happening. And that's what I need to say today.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming out. Anyone else?
Hi, Antonucci, 2 Stony Creek Court. I live across the street from Murphy's Pit on Atson Road. We had another fire on March 9th. I was, from my back deck, I was taking video of the riders in the pit, just trying to document when they're there, when they're not. And I saw the riders go to the back of the pit, and I saw a big plume of smoke go out to the front so I can get a better look. Yeah, they set another fire in the back of the pit. So I called 911. Firefighters showed up. They put out the fire. But since March 8th, all the way to the end of March, there's been 2 days where there was no activity in the pit. 2. Now, my husband came across 2 documents that show that the solar company has already bought that property. So maybe we need to put a little more pressure on them to put that fence up. The last, when the fire was set on March 9th, it was dry, it was windy, their house is close by. Whole thing could have gone up like a tinderbox. This is serious. This is very serious. I do not want my property burned. I don't want the house next door to the pit to burn. There's the mobile home park right there. These kids don't care. They don't care. Something has to be done.
All right, thanks, Diana. Anybody else?
Same song. Bill Ryan, One Stony Creek. Diane's right. There's constant activity at the pit. What we're hoping for is to get some sort of update as to what is happening as it relates to the solar project. I understand that there are challenges in dealing with open space, but there's also an opportunity because you have the opportunity to generate electric by letting them develop there, which actually could help with the escalating costs that are happening already. But it also would hopefully stop a lot of the wasted resources. We frequently call upon the police, and I appreciate every time they respond. But I also see their frustration, and I feel their frustration. It is ridiculous that we're wasting resources because people are trespassing on a regular basis. But the problem gets worse because now they're riding up and down Otsian Road and other roads, as you've heard. They're coming from all over. And checking out some of the local news reports, this is not a single isolated situation. So in addition to some sort of update as it relates to the Bighorn Solar Project or whatever we're calling it, I'm hoping that the township can actually start working on a strategy that would probably bring in additional resources, bringing in coordinating between both the state police, the state parks who have some vehicles that can get back there, and other resources that are available. But because constantly sitting here, coming up every month, every couple of months saying, this is a problem, doesn't do anybody any good.
Thank you, Bill.
Hi, Heather, 4 Sandstone Court, McGarvey last name. I'm sorry you have people out riding in the woods. I have no sympathy for you. You don't have junkies over there. You don't have what we're dealing with in Woodgate. You have some kids out on a bike. If that was the worst thing we had, we'd have no problem over in McKennaman Woods. That's just my point.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Timothy McGarvey, 4 Sandstone Court.
Welcome.
So officer, how is fentanyl usually used? Is it in pill form or is it? My fear is that these people that are whacked out, literally doing this like balance thing where they're just like trying to remain upright, but I don't know if they're consciously aware as to what's going on, but what happens if they drop some of their drugs and an innocent child picks it up? And from everything I hear is fentanyl is quite, like you can just touch it and it can, this is my greatest fear is that they're going to lose the drugs or drop the drugs and somebody innocent is going to happen, or they're going to get behind a car and hit somebody because they like to sleep in their cars out in front of the property as well. I never would have thought in Shamong that it would be Kensington, because that's what it's starting to feel like. They're literally, like Chris said, they're wrapped in blankets in the woods on the side of the street. My son comes home. I'm at the county commissioners meeting trying to fight to get this stupid circle that they want to put in here for no reason. And I'm getting a call from my stepson at home saying that there's 3 junkies standing in the street doing this like trying to hold their balance and stand up straight. They're completely whacked out. So now, we have to rush to try and figure out. I called a few of my neighbors to let them know and let them be aware. It's starting to get out of control. And I know you're trying everything you can do. And just keep the pressure stronger. We need to figure this out.
Okay, the latest thing that I understand that they're on, not these people in particular, but it's fentanyl and some kind of horse tranquilizer. So it's called Trank, and that's why you see them whacked out like that. Let me say that we have taken our zoning officer. Can you give us an update, Sue, of where we are with violations?
Yeah, everything was submitted to the court. The violations were accepted by them, and there was a court date established. However, the court date had to be rescheduled because of a conflict with a restraining order, and they moved it into a different court. And tomorrow is the court date. That was the last court date that we were given, was for tomorrow.
Okay, and do we have,
That'll be a sentencing hearing, as I understand.
is that, do you know what court that is in? Is that Mansfield?
The last one I heard was the second.
I have some.
Okay.
There's two different court dates you're talking about.
I would think, yeah, one is for the violations and the other is for the,
son was.
right.
Oh,
So on the fourth, that'll be before Judge Haynes, I believe, up in Mount Holly. If you haven't already written a letter, I would suggest that you do that. He's very receptive. You can go, the court process is open. You can go and you will be heard. You let them know when you go there why you're there, and the judge will listen to you. If you don't want to go or you can't go, if you do a letter to Judge Haynes, and if you need his address or contact information, you can get a hold of me directly or call Sue. And that will have an effect. That's the sentencing hearing for the young man, I understand, who's violated his probation, as well as several other criminal allegations, as I understand it. And we're hoping that if he is sentenced, it will be with a jail term for violating his probation. And perhaps that'll be a big step towards curing this problem. That's what we're hoping for. The other issue is the violations to the owner of the property that understand that they've not been complied with. That won't be, I don't believe there'll be a jail sentence for that, but it will be a heavy fine, as well as a mandate by the court to clean up the property. So that's what's happening on those two ends. At this point, I'll turn it over to Lieutenant and give us an update from his perspective as to what's been going on.
Yeah, in terms of the court date, I would definitely suggest writing those letters because there was stuff that I can't necessarily talk about, but there, these people know our system very, very well. Okay, so they're using every trick that they can to try to prolong this or get a reduced sentence. So those letters would help. In terms of Woodgate, I did get a few emails from you, right? So you're not gonna like what I have to say, but many of your complaints were after the fact. I can't do anything after the fact. If a guy's wrapped up in a blanket in the woods and we don't get a call, I think that's an issue, that we should be the first call. It shouldn't be calls to neighbors, it should be calls to me or to the barracks. Call 911 if you have to. I have instructed my troopers to be out there regularly doing property checks, to be in the area. If we get a call for a fire, I can write a local ordinance. If there's ATV riding on the private property after 10 o'clock, they've been instructed to write the family the local ordinance. That's about as much as I can do. The court's out of my hand, and they are. Everything takes forever. We know this. All right, but I need the calls. I need to know. I don't care if it's your kid that called 911. They shouldn't have to. You're right. But this is the reality we're all faced with right now. Call 911, call the offline number. I don't care how many calls or what time it is, we'll go, right? They're on to us. They know what I'm doing. They know that we're constantly coming out there, but people coming in and out of the house, undesirable or not, can't stop that. Unless I can get them in the car as being impaired, that's about as much as I can do on a private property. I cannot walk onto someone's private property and tell them what to do. That's not the police's function, right? Criminal traffic violation. Being wrapped up, being impaired, being a danger to themselves, I can do something about that. Please call me. All right. There are other things in the works. Again, I told you that in January. You don't want to hear that again. You're not interested in hearing that. You want results. I understand that. I understand where we live. Right, and how messed up our court system can be sometimes. All right. In terms of Murphy's Pit, I just want to make it, out there. ATV riding, as far as I'm concerned, I think we're all far from here. It's a big part of the culture out here. I am not going onto Murphy's Pit and having my troopers chase young kids on the bikes. I'm not doing it. If they start running, they start trying to get away from us, hit a tree, hit a car. No, I'm not taking that. Private property, right? Again, it's the same thing. It's private property. I'm not going to go tell someone what to do on their private property. Now, as far as I know, the owner of the permit spare right now doesn't have a problem with this, correct?
No, he did not give any permission for it.
He doesn't, so unless he's going,
He's getting ready to down.
I'm talking about before, now I don't know anything about the solar.
Guy that, Mr. Cashmore has written to the township saying that.
But he no longer owns it.
Private property, no trespassing. That says.
But I'm just telling you, I'm not going on there and chasing kids on the bikes, we're not gonna do it. If you do see them riding down that side road, if you see them, let me know, and we'll go and try to get them. But you have any idea how hard that is? They go off in the woods, I'm not doing it.
There's no chase law in the state of New Jersey for that?
Is there what?
Is there such thing as a no chase law in the state of New Jersey?
We're ordered not to. Okay, but I don't know if it's actually a law on the books, right? Because if someone does get hurt, who's it gonna come back on?
Yeah.
It's gonna come back on the trooper. Right?
So if somebody runs into them, who's fault that?
It would be their fault because they're driving an unregistered car on the road. We have guys, we know this situation. We have the guys out there on the weekends riding around. If they're on the road or they're illegally parked somewhere, that's different. But if they're gonna go off into the woods, not you. I've already told them not to do that. So I just wanna make that clear, all right? We're not gonna do that. I believe the sale hopefully will go through and we'll get some, the solar, the farm that's supposed to come up, hopefully that'll change things, and it probably will, if they put the fence up. Until then, we can try, but if they run, we're not taking. It's not much of a nuisance call, we'll send somebody. All right?
Lieutenant, thank you. We appreciate the update. We know that you've been out to Woodgate numerous times.
After I checked it, I have our guys doing property checks on a regular basis. I'm gonna go back, again, I'm going to reiterate everything I heard here tonight and make sure.
Neither her or him have a valid driver's license, yet I see them pull in and out of there all day.
She does have the valid driver's license, and I believe he does now too. So when we towed the car was unregistered at the time. They went, they got everything updated, came back into this station. Showed proof that it's registered, insured, valid driver's license. At that point, we had no choice but to get the truck back.
So as everybody knows, we live in America where you have rights, right? You have property rights and you don't want the police coming onto your property, or trespassing onto your property, or government officials. So we're doing things step by step. And it takes time. I know that we've been doing this a long time on both of these issues. The pit is a long-standing 30-year tradition where people longer than that have been going out there. Yeah, that have been going out there forever, and it's hard to change the behavior. We've taken steps, and our solicitor is going to give you an update as to what's going on with Bighorn Solar. As far as Woodgate, it's the most important thing we have on our plate. I've personally been out to meet with Chris and some of the other neighbors. I've seen what's going on. I've instructed our zoning officer to go out there, and if there are violations, to issue the violations and take action. Courts are slow sometimes, we know that. So I know I've asked you to be before to be patient. You know, it's not the old days where we can go out and take care of business like we used to do. And I understand that. I understand your feelings and your frustration. What the lieutenant is saying is call. I know that nobody really wants to be calling the police all the time. He's telling you, when you see something, yes, he's.
I will have it, yes, I can write.
Officer drove by,
Yeah.
okay, within 15 minutes after the officer drove by, there was piles of carpet and PVC pipe thrown on the top of the fire. Now, yesterday, first beautiful day, we couldn't open our windows, we're choking. Who do I call in that situation? Because if you can't go on the property.
No, for something like that.
For cause, he
He's burning
can.
trash now.
They are burning trash.
Okay,
She
now
has
he's
not paid for
violated the
trash in
local.
20 years. I've been there 20 years and she's never paid for trash. So where does her trash go?
That is a violation of a local ordinance. I looked it up, right, it hasn't changed.
Yeah, who do I call to enforce?
We will, I've instructed my guys to issue that ordinance, but
Okay.
again, now you're talking about handing them a summons, coming back, putting it in the court box, getting it to the court,
I got it.
right? But the more that we can add up on this, right, they're not gonna pay it. Right now, if they don't,
It's
liens
also
on
a
the property
DEP
show.
issue, so should we, I mean,
Just call, we'll write the ordinance, and I'll have the fire department, depending on the side, if they're doing trash and they're burning stuff, I'm pretty sure that we can, I'd have to double check with the fire department, I don't wanna tell
somebody
you
goes
one
through
thing
that
or
fire
another.
pit.
But we can still write the ordinance, and this stuff starts to add up. It's not gonna be an overnight fix.
And then we get them parking down the street and they're walking to the house. I called the other day, in the morning, I look at, my wife says there's a car parked on the side. 10 minutes later, he's parked on the right side. They do short runs, but now they're parking all over the neighborhood. I get it, it's public streets. But
It
now
is
they're.
public streets. We did catch the one guy, we talked to him. And he's not impaired. He has a valid driver's license, valid registration, valid insurance, and he says he works for Grubhub.
But why is he not
Well,
parking in front of their house?
I-
Park your-
I'm sure, I don't believe for a second that he works for Grubhub, right? But there's only so much that I could do at that, point, or the trooper can do at that point. So they're not dumb. They're no.
They've been, the officers have been out. I mean,
We're out there,
they-
we should be out there constantly. If we're not, then they're disobeying my order and I have a problem with that. We should be out there once or
They're not
twice a
writing
shift.
anything. They come out there, there's a fire, they don't write.
Well, they should be, and I just sent that
They
email.
see 'em on the ATV late at night and they don't write that. So I
After
mean,
our correspondence, last week, okay, I sent another directive out to the 4 squad sergeants and told them that if this stuff takes place, now ATVs between 7 AM and 10 PM. Can't do anything.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
10 o'clock and after, now we're in a noise complaint, right? Now you violated a local ordinance, and yes, we can write that, and I've instructed my squads to do that. And I will follow up with them again tomorrow with another email, instructing them to do that. That's the best that I think, unless you have another,
Now, when they're ready to take
Idea.
the quad, are they checking the VIN numbers on those? or-
they do,
Okay.
they do. Everything on their property that we're aware of right now, because I don't know if you know this or not, but we did a raid there
Yep.
a couple months ago. That's what's still working its way through the court system. We verified everything on the property and nothing was stolen, nothing. I wasn't here yet, but that was one of the first questions I asked. I mean, if you have something else, I am here to serve you. So if there is something else that within reason, right, where I'm not violating someone's constitutional rights, please let me know. I've given you my email. Heather and I have had correspondence before. Right? We're not ignoring it, but there is only so much I can do if you're not going to call me. Or call us, I should say, not me, because I'm not going out. I'll have the kids out there.
Plastic is getting bad.
That's a violation. You're not allowed to burn your trash.
Yeah, exit outside.
It's a local ordinance. They can't do it. And I've instructed my guys to write it. We can write that. Okay. All right.
All right, any other questions
Any
for the
other thing
lieutenant? Otherwise, I'm gonna let him go. He's got his family to get to, and I want to thank you. Yeah, sure.
Hi, again, Anastasia
Hi,
Zaccaro, 1 Stony Creek Court. Thank
We
you.
spoke.
We did.
Yes.
So really, thank you for being here. But I just want to reiterate, it's not a contest of whose worst wrong is wrong. This is not kids just riding in the woods, and we're thoroughly aware of what the protocols are and the restrictions, as well as the laws for no chasing. But these are not just kids that are out there riding. As I think I stated back in November, possibly at the mic, we actually, and when I say we had an incident, Diane, my husband and myself were out of towners.
I
I
remember.
believe they were from either New York or Camden, I can't remember county, very far between New York being New York State, where we were actually harassed and 4 troopers came to the house. So what happened was the gentleman driving his vehicle, his truck, his 4x4, could not produce documentation. Where we have been told, so correct me if I'm not understanding and possibly I'm getting it wrong and it's ambiguous, but I don't think it is. We have been told that we will come out, meaning you, come out, and if they are in violation, they were parked on both Diane's property with their truck. They were on our property. They damaged our irrigation system, 2 of them. Could not produce proper documentation for the vehicle they were driving. Nevertheless, the ATVs, which are illegal on the street. To get to the pit, you need to utilize the county roads or the state roads to do so. What happened was the officer did not issue a citation. He let them go. What they did is they went down, if you're familiar with Stony Creek, where you live, they went down to the turnaround in the cul-de-sac. They came back. We were outside talking. And what the gentleman driving did is he looked right at me because he was cursing, using profanities, and threatening us. The officer said, "Would you like to write a report?" I said, "No." You didn't write a ticket for his not being able to produce proper documentation. I'm not going to write a report. All of your troopers left. He came back, and as he was passing out of the driver's window to me, he goes, I know.
Yeah, no, that's unacceptable.
We put all surveillance on our property. In addition to that, my husband and I were coming home when did we get the new car? The Lincoln. We got it in what, May, June? New car, we're coming down at Scion this way. We're making the left into Stony Creek. Two of these kids who are just riding in the woods late at night, must have been around 9:45, not past the 10 o'clock ordinance, but this is private property that they're on. And they're not supposed to be there. And you have a letter up at the barracks stating as such. Two of them come popping out with their high beams. We swerve. I roll the window down. I start screaming they're not supposed to be there. Guess what these kids did that were just out for a ride in the woods? They then turned around and followed us home. I said to my husband, do not. He goes, don't worry. We're not pulling in the driveway. They followed us home. As far as I'm concerned, that would be considered
That's
stalking,
unacceptable, yes.
harassing.
It's unacceptable.
So the problem is this, it's not an issue anymore, and it's not part of the culture here. Maybe way back 30 years ago, I'm not from here. I live here for 11 years, and I love it here. I love it here. The reason we moved here were because all the other reasons everybody else is here, like this fabulous Girl Scout troop, which I was a Girl Scout, by the way. So I really, and we support you. I want to get more information on the fundraising part. That being said, this is why we all moved here. These are not nice kids. They're trespassing, and trespassing is illegal. And as far as I'm concerned, wrong is wrong. Now, sure, is fentanyl worse than riding a legal 4x4 in the woods? Yes, but by definition, you're trespassing and you're breaking the law. They are a nuisance, they are in violation, and they're threatening. And this committee has been put on notice, and the tape we could go back and review the tape. It's becoming a liability, because what's going to happen isn't going to be pretty. The handwriting's on the wall. We've already been threatened. These are not nice kids.
When was this?
This was probably 2 years. I have it on I'm Italian. I don't erase anything. Yeah, I don't erase anything. I have every text, every video. I could look it up for you. But the reality is they did not get a citation for what your officer said you would write.
Should have written that summons, and if they don't.
They should have confiscated the bikes. So by where I'm standing, it's very ambiguous, it's very frustrating, and it's actually quite stupid. And I know I'm not stupid. So no, it is wrong. Wrong is wrong. That's it. I mean, you live in our neighborhood. And what happened there a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago with the fire, apparently something was made, a very derogatory, debasing comment was made, like, don't call 911 when there's no fire. Well, one of the firemen or the troopers, whoever it was, went and looked in the woods, there was a fire. Quick to assume.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yep, I appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
Anything further for the lieutenant? We can let.
Anything else?
Thank
No?
you, sir.
All right.
Thank you. We really appreciate what you're doing, and I think we understand, what the process is. Although we're not happy that it takes so long, it is frustrating. But I think we'll get to where we need to be.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
As many of you know, on several occasions, I've walked up to the pit myself and asked on one occasion, I met two fathers back there. They had 3 kids that were out riding. I spoke to them. They immediately left with their children, knowing that they can't ride there. Other occasions I've gone back, the people will take off, before you get there. I'm not suggesting that you go out personally, but I'm telling you what I did. As far as Woodgate, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think we understand the problem. And people on the board here have been out to your neighborhood. So it's not like we don't care, and it's not like we haven't forgotten. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Lieutenant. Call me anytime.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say before thank you, Chris. Anybody else have anything to say before we close this portion of the meeting to the public comment? Okay, Doug, do you want to say anything about
Just for the couple residents who are probably only here for the
Murphy's
Murphy's
Pit?
Pit, if you want, I can give.
Yes, sir,
we can give an
please.
Update during a solicitor's report, but I'll do
No,
it
I'd like
now
to
in
do
case
it
they
now.
wanna
In case I want to leave.
get home. The notice of settlement that was circulated is a little misleading. It doesn't mean a settlement has occurred. The property has not transacted. It's the title company basically saying a sale is pending and that there will be a settlement that will occur. The good news is that it is related to the solar project. So I spoke to Steve Goen, who is my counterpart for the solar company. He represents them on their legal process on all fronts, but specifically with respect to these two projects. I'm just going to focus on the Murphy's Pit project because that's where the problems arise from. They have a pending application that has been accepted by Atlantic City Electric. They have a pending application and have addressed issues, questions back from Pinelands Commission relative to their intended solar project on that property. He believes, and couldn't give a tight time frame, but his general feeling is that probably sometime as early as this summer, but before the end of the year, unless they get denied by ACE, which they don't anticipate, they will be in a position to close on that property. They've also said in the past, once they close on the property, they won't wait, and we can have further conversation with them, but they won't wait knowing the issues that we're facing out there to secure the property. As owners, I think they'll have an interest in doing that. We've been dealing for decades with a current owner who doesn't really take interest in protecting against his own liability from my standpoint. So I think the hope is that the sooner we can get constructive reuse of that property, we can drive out the negative uses that you guys are being impacted with on a regular basis. That is very good progress from where we were. Turnaround with ACE in terms of moving the project forward, pending applications, and them thinking they're going to be in a position to actually close sometime in the next 3 months to 9 months. I will continue to follow up with Steve Goen every month, try to give updates every month on any progress that we get out of this. But I'm hopeful that sometime this year, we'll be able to sit in this meeting room and say, yep, the closing took place, a fence is going up, and then honestly, once they get through the site plan approval process, get their solar panels in, there's not going to be a pit to ride on anymore. So that's the goal, and that's what we're working towards.
So just one more thing to add about that. It's not Shamong that's been holding back the deal. We've been trying to get this going for years. We've got a live buyer on the hook, so to speak, because it solves a lot of the problems that people are interested in. And Doug has been working, Sue have been working to try and make sure that this happens. And we're doing our best to do that. And I guess last month or maybe 2 months ago, we did have a conference call with ACE to get them on board. And you've heard the progress that, Doug has made. So I know we don't want to hear, be patient. But we can only do, unless somebody wants to buy it here, and we'll close like that. I can tell you that right away. We have to wait for the process to take charge. With that, I'd like to open it up to the members of the board. If anybody on the dais has any comments or questions, feel free. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move quickly. Now the public comment agenda items are closed. I'll move as quickly as I can through the rest of the meeting, and you're all welcome to stay. First is the approval of the minutes for March 4th, 2025 regular meeting. If you've had an opportunity to review it, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
March 4th. Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Ms. Macias,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson,
Abstain.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. DeCroce.
Abstain. Next is a Green Acres inspection of Dingletown Recreation Complex.
Excuse me, Mayor, can we back up and have a vote on the Girl Scouts to approve them? To use?
Absolutely, yeah.
In the,
I can't believe we didn't do that already while
I
they're
know.
here. That would have
but
been
if we
nice.
could include in that they would provide us where they want to put this pollinator garden because of it. They're showing us a picture of the dam, the top of the dam. I don't think they meant that, but I don't think we can do this plantings.
No flowers on the dam.
Yeah.
Okay. Can somebody make a motion in favor of allowing the Girl Scout Troop 23-156 to plant their garden, not on the dam, and they'll also
I'll make a
supply
motion.
information to Sue. Yep, we're gonna do it anyway, so, no roll call, you mean a vote?
No, the roll call in the beginning.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Okay, good point. So you want to do a roll? Do we do a roll call?
We can do one. Mr. Croce,
I'm here. Thank you.
Mr. Diamond,
Here.
Ms. Mazitis,
I'm here.
Mr. Wilkinson.
Here.
And Mr. Woods.
Here. Thank you, Bill. All right, now can we have a motion for the Girl Scouts?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank
the
you,
Girl
Megan.
Scouts. I'll second it.
Thank you.
Ms. Mazitis,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson.
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. Croce.
I vote yes. Next is the Green Acres inspection of Dingletown Recreation Complex. Is that going to be you, Sue, or Joe?
Yes, no, I have that. They have completed their inspection. They found everything to be in good shape. They found them to be clean and well maintained, which is what they're happy to see. They continue to look at any Green Acres funded and operated improvements that, and they also let us know that the next time that they plan to do an inspection on our parks would be in 2028. They were out on February 24th and
All right, great. We don't need a motion for that.
just.
All right, next is the social affairs permit issued to Indian Mills Deer Club, which is located on Outside Road for their annual pig roast fundraiser, which this year is going to be held on August 23rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. through 9 p.m. And if you haven't been there, it's quite a nice event. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
No motion is just a notification. The permit was issued. It's required to be cleared by the township within 10 days, as well as the state police. So knowing that they've run this event many years in the past without issue.
Perfect. Okay, great. Next, as some of you know, we had an issue on Route 206, so we have an approval of a no passing zone on Route 206.
Yes, and this is we started on this back quite a long time ago, trying to get this in order back in August of last year. But they finally have agreed to doing this, and it will take place, and it'll be approximately between mile marker 7.58 and 9.45. So the passing zone there just north of the Piccolo will become a no passing zone. I think
We're a little concerned about potential accidents there, a little bit dangerous. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
no motion required on that. Just
Well, we're not having any motions tonight. How about that?
just bring everybody up to speed. Item 6 is an update on the four-way stop at Grassy Lake and Stokes Road. This was a request from one of our residents. We reached out to the county, as we have done in other, that's how we're getting the roundabout, actually. And they are working on it. It's in a queue. I've been touching base with them on an almost weekly basis, just not getting any other movement than it's in their queue.
Yeah, this is a big issue. As you know, we're trying to avoid spending millions of dollars for a circle that we don't believe we need. Especially now that the racetrack has closed, the traffic is much diminished. And the second issue is they haven't done a study since sometime in 2017. And at that point, they say there were about 3,000 cars. I actually went out there myself about 2 years ago, and it was about 1,500 cars. So I think it's a total waste of money. They say it's federal money. It's not your money. I don't care. It's all of our money. So we're still working on that. And the resolution is to put a four-way stop sign up, lower the speed limit, put the blinking light up, which they finally did. And so that's where that stands. All right, next we move to 2025 budget updates. The Indian Mills Volunteer Fire Company request for $70,000 for the chief's vehicle.
Yeah, they, in short, we had put 35,000 into last year's. They didn't use it. We put 35,000 this year, but they're looking for the 35,000 from last year as well. And Charlie, you just told me tonight that the vehicle's about 82,000.
82.5. I just, an hour and a half before the meeting, I just got the proposal for Winter Ford. I haven't had a chance to review it. 82.5.
Tell them that's too high. We're not doing that. Right?
We had one price from BCI a while ago, and it was just under 90. So it's in the ballpark. I mean,
How are we on the budget for 70,000?
We would have to take additional 35,000 out of surplus. We don't have any other areas to cut.
Well, I think, so we certainly voted last year for the $35,000 for them, correct?
We did.
All right, and so we need to take a vote on this year of whether or not we can do an additional 35?
Yeah.
Is that something that we have to go back and we can decide tonight, or we need to go back?
Well, we as I said, it would have to be something that we would have to take out of surplus because we're not in a position to raise our tax rate this year.
Yeah, we're not gonna raise our tax rate this year.
Right. So, in that doing it, that's another half cent basically of taxes, 35,000 out of our bank account. But we have to take it out of. Do you have any kind of funds that you can put towards this car? This,
We're anticipating putting funds toward it. 70,000 from you, we would put the rest toward it, whatever it comes out to be. Right now it's 82.
well, last year it was the same position, the cost of the car, and we were only given 35, and then you were able to fund it last year. But then you didn't order it.
Last year, we asked for 70, it got reduced to 35. We said that wasn't enough to cover the cost. And we still didn't have a final price until just recently. So we're at 82.5 right now. So our intent is to, if we get 70 from you, to somehow come up with it ourselves.
Have you looked into the possibility of buying a used vehicle?
Yes, there are very few out there. Somebody here.
I did.
He gave us
Yeah.
information on one.
Woodland Township, yeah,
I
disbanded.
contacted them, Immediately, and it was already sold. It was, what was it, Tom's River or?
I think it was Woodland Township or, I got my eye out looking, so.
It was. I think it was. They put it out for bids, I think, for 45. I think it got about 50, 55. So it was 2019, I think.
It had super low miles, it would have been
Yeah,
perfect.
it was.
It was all loaded up, ready to go for you.
We jumped on it.
Yeah.
It was too late.
Another fire official told me about it, so
Yeah. We
you
hadn't
know.
heard about it, so we jumped on it. But
Yeah, it would have been good. It was,
Yeah, it would have been,
yeah.
it would have been great.
But I got my eye out looking
So,
for you.
yeah, Councilman Diamond is the perfect guy for this project. And what I would suggest is let's let him see if he could come up with something in the next 30 or 60 days. The truck you have now is still operable?
Yes.
Okay, why don't we do that unless there's other, suggestions on the board?
Say, even if we told Leonard Ford tomorrow that was a go, we're months down the road before they gotta get a vehicle from Ford, take months.
Got it.
And then they have to build it, so.
I think prices are coming down. When they think that you really need something, they're not going to budge. But there's no cars moving off of these lots. And so I think maybe if we take, let's say 60 days and see if Mr. Councilman Diamond can work a little bit of magic. And let's see if we can get what you need at a reduced price while you still have an operable vehicle. And obviously, we have in mind to help you guys, as you know, from the fire truck, which was how much?
826,000, I think.
Yep. So we're, as you know, we're just a little town trying to make our way. So we're going to help you.
Yeah, we increased last year their funding to 75,000 a year as well, to
Yep.
help them out some more. So that was, I think, a $15,000 increase last year, and we got it again this year in the budget. Yeah.
Fair enough?
What,
Okay.
what's the health of surplus like? What would it look like in 60 days taking out from?
What kind-
What's the health of surplus like? What would it look like in 60 days taking out of surplus
I
of
don't have a
funds?
finalized surplus number because our audit's not done.
Okay,
But we already have about 1.3 of the surplus being used in this year's budget. So, we're using better than half of it.
okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll put that off, Sue, for 30 days to revisit that.
Okay.
All right. Next is an important issue for everyone here. It's a tax increase on the average assessed home, which is 311,000 and some change. The Shamong Township local assessed tax value, local purpose tax increase will be 0.0%. The Shamong Board of Education increase is 2.31%, and that'll be $118 and some change on the average house. And the Lenape Board of Education increase is 4.09%, which is $115,000. The Burlington County assumed tax rate, we're not sure about that yet, is about 2.16%, or an additional $34.60 per year. So Sue and all members of the board, thank you for keeping zero tax increase for Shamong. As everybody here knows, we got hit last year really bad. Our taxes went up in Stony Creek about $1,400 or $1,500 in 1 year. and everyone else's taxes proportionally were raised in the township.
$700 was the average,
Yeah,
750.
it's outrageous. So we're now trying to find people who want to be on the board of the education and school boards. So if you have any interest in that, we need people with talent that know how to read a budget, that know how to watch out for their neighbors. We're losing people because they can't afford to stay here. So once again, we've kept our taxes, well, this time 0, and I'm very pleased about that. And I want to thank Sue and our crew for what they do in our town. We don't have very many employees. And as you know from the work that they do in the snowstorms, they do a really good job. Although I think we were missing Gary and Snooky a little bit this year.
Gary was a retirement and pension. He couldn't
Right.
participate this year.
Right, so they've been doing this a long time. We don't need a motion on this? Just an update?
Just an update.
Okay. Any questions from members of the board or suggestions? All right, next, we're gonna go to the Borough JIF, which is the Joint Insurance Fund Insurance Commissioners Report of March 18th, 2025.
A couple of key things to take away: our annual incentive program. Beginning this year, we were looking to get 5,095 hours. They bumped that up by another $750 that we qualified from last year's reports and trainings that we did. So that was good news. So that takes us well over what we received the year before and helps offset the increases that we're seeing in our insurance coverage. Elected officials training is due by May 1st. It's in last year we received $1,250 credit towards our assessment. So I think we have 2 or 3 that have already completed that.
That's the usual, that was the annual rubber chicken dinner, which we now do by Zoom. So Sue, if you would just send out a reminder note to anybody who hasn't done it, so we can see if we can get the additional funds. We get paid. If we take that course, we get additional funds that help reduce taxes.
Okay. And the additional thing we do is we do a cyber hygiene training, and majority of the staff has taken that, but we still have several people that haven't. So that has to be done. I believe that's also is required to be done by the end of this month. So we're pushing to get that done. And they're the key points of that report. It's kind of lengthy.
Okay, thank you. Next is the approval of a health insurance as a bridge policy for one of our employees, L. Abrams, through open enrollment of the state health benefit plan in October of 2025, which was necessary, I guess, because a new hire and some restrictions about getting into our plan. So this is going to be just a bridge policy to allow him to get coverage until we can get him into our plan.
And this one is the plan's substantially similar to ours, but not quite there 100%. State health benefit plan is almost $1,500 a month. This one is just over $700 a month. So what we're looking to do is approval for this type of coverage for the rest of the year. And also if there's a significant loss that he has, we're finding that this policy comes up short, that the township would step in and help him out and pay significant items.
Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll second that
Thank you.
motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Kochi?
I vote yes. Next is the Indian Mills Volunteer Fire Company request to a coin drop at the intersection of Oakshade and Indian Mills Road, which is going to occur on June 14th with a rain date of June 15th, and it will occur from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Charlie, any comments on that?
No, it's just, it's a long day. We used to do half a day out there, but since the Acco driveway closed, the traffic patterns have dropped off. It's still, the last time I think we made a little over 3, which was pretty decent. A long day standing on the corner though.
Okay.
Let's try it again.
All right, well, good. We'll hope
Helps.
every little bit helps. Hopefully everybody will support that. And can we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Ms. Mazitis?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Kochi?
Yes, next, an update on the Burlington County Board of Elections updated district map.
I have forwarded this all to the committee members, and we were given a verbal that it was finalized. Once we get everything signed off by the county, I would like to work on updating our website so that people can review this It'll probably be done with links to the county, just so anything changes. We are still gonna remain with 4 separate districts. However, there's somebody pretty much from every district is gonna move, and what we're gonna gear it up to be is that hopefully if maybe you're in District 1 now, but you maybe become District 3 or vice versa, you're still here in this building, and same for District 2 and 4. But we're gonna, once we get it finalized, we'll update the township website. We get closer to both the primary and the general election, we'll send out email notices. It'll be on everybody's county ballot, so that'll help them. So we're just gonna try to get the word out there the best we can for this change and redistricting.
All right, so the worst that'll happen is a voter comes in and they think they're District 1, they'll be at this building
Just go.
and they'll just, go across the room and still be able to vote. So that shouldn't be much of a confusion. Any update on the machines this year? Are they,
No.
okay,
Well, it sounds like we're gonna be working off the same machines. I know we tried to have a meeting as the Clerks Association with them a couple times. We're even suggesting something very simple. What Camden County does with these machines is they come in, they hand everybody a paper ballot, they fill them in, and they stick it into the scanner. So much more efficient than what we're doing with these double machines that we have here. But the double machines, to me, make a lot of sense for the early voting, where you can go to one location anywhere in the county and they can pull up your ballot, even though you're voting in Delanco. You know, you can vote over there with a Shamong ballot pop up. That makes a lot of sense for that, but the amount of time it's killing here with and introducing on a presidential year was just made it that much harder. We always see much higher volume.
okay.
So hopefully they'll get better understanding here, but we're not moving anywhere on that.
All right, next is the Burlington County Overlay Program, which is to resurface the Willow Grove Road, 115 feet from Route 206 to At Sign Road, approximately 2 miles. Any idea when that's got planned to start?
They have not given us a start date. Just to give you an idea on this was actually dated the 2023 state funded overlay program by the county. So this is how long it takes to get approvals and get the funding and the grants for this. But it is 2 miles, which is At Sign Road to 206. If you've driven that section, there's a lot of cracking and chips coming out of the center from where the rumble strips go across. So it'll be good to get that done, and that's at the county's cost, not ours. It's a county road.
Okay, great. Next is the approval of a staff to attend an educational webinar conference for the municipal clerk to attend 2 webinars at a cost of $190 and the CFO to attend a seminar at a cost of $555. Both of these required, Sue, for
Maintaining our
certifications?
license and certification, Chip.
Okay. Any less expensive way to get those done?
I managed to do all mine this year for $550. That's 2 years worth of credits, whereas some people end up going more. I mean, whenever I see a free one, I go do a free one. It's my license is a 2-year cycle, so for $500, no, actually less than that. For $390, I did 2 years worth of classes.
Okay.
So there are cheaper ways. You just gotta look for them.
Got it. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Croce?
Yes, next is the issue of no parking zones on township roads.
Yes, I received an issue with concerns of parking on township roads within Shawnee Lane. I looked up the current ordinance. That is not one of the roads that we have no parking zones for. Typically, the no parking zones are like At Sign Road, Fork Neck Road, which is kind of narrow, Indian Mills Road, Oak Shade Road, Stowe, Twin Oaks, Willow Grove, and we also have Breckenridge. So yeah, I put it out to everybody. I don't know. I guess in every development, we have people parking on the roads. So I think that the roads there are wide enough. I don't know if you want to have it looked into more for them to take parking on Shawnee Lane.
Yeah, I think that we probably should take a look into a little more before we change the rules about where people can park. Especially since people have parties or have guests over, things like that. And
Right. And sometimes it's just, a landscaper or maybe a contractor that parks there. Now, if they're bringing home that, maybe that's what they do for a living. They're bringing home their work truck and park there. I mean, I've got people that park on the curb in my development, and we have pretty long driveways, but, still, you get a couple kids driving and you have a work vehicle and your private vehicle.
Are they just concerned about that section where the divider is? That stretch of road where it kind of splits it in two?
I think they want it for the whole development. is what-
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, that development's plenty wide to park on the
That was my
road.
sense.
Maybe if they're just talking about that one section,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree to be in agreement of that, but there's that
Yeah.
stretch where they have the trees and plants in the middle that kind of splits
as
the
you enter
road.
the
into-
development.
On Stokes Road
Yeah.
and
Looks like,
if
yeah.
everybody thinks it's, a race coming off of 206 and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not a problem there. I've never
No,
seen
I'm
an
not.
accident,
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying that development's very wide, so just for that development, it doesn't make sense, but I could see if
Yeah,
they're talking
Yeah.
about
You know,
that narrow
the
part.
notice I got was, commercial vehicles, trailers parked on public roads, location, entrance, of Shawnee Lane, which is what you're referring to. But then he goes on and it says about how people are using it and parking there all the time, and he's worried about school buses, UPS drivers, and people walking and. um, What's the width of a road that we need to be concerned about, Joe? I mean,
Anything less than, I think, 30 feet. Precludes parking on both sides. There needs to be a 15-foot clear area. Title IX, if you can't have 15 feet clear, you can't park on both sides, even if you allow parking on both sides. So we really need 15 and 7 and 7 or 8 and 8 along the curb lines to park in compliance with Title 39. So anything less than that, then it depends whether you have sidewalk or not sidewalk, it depends what level of road it is. But I can look at that and give you guys an update.
That'd be great.
Quick analysis of where.
I don't think people park on the one side of the divider.
probably not.
Yeah,
Right.
not dividing
I
side.
doubt, yeah, I doubt that. It's
Yeah.
probably.
But I'll see if you don't have 22 feet in that single lane on each side of the divider, then technically you're not supposed to park there, because if you park there and you leave 14 feet, you're in violation of the state law. Title 39.
Got it. Okay. And will you report to us next month on that? Thank you, sir. So we'll take no action on that this evening. Next is the approval of the Verizon settlement agreement.
But do you want to, I know Jay and you were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, this Verizon case has a long and tortured history through the state tax court system. There is a proposed settlement from Verizon based upon very limited information. The only thing I'll say at this point is this is really a tax assessor function. Tax assessor and I resolve cases at the county board level, the state level. If it's something impactful to the budget, we will bring it back to you to let you know. But I think this thing's going to go away relatively quickly. But we just have to satisfy ourselves that we've done our due diligence to make sure that we're not walking away from potential tax revenue for the township.
Are you recommending approval of the settlement agreement?
So the governing body doesn't need to take any action on this. I think it's ultimately going to be approved, but we need to satisfy that there's real information that's been provided. If you look at the settlement agreement, they provided one exhibit with conclusory numbers. Jay has had conversation with Verizon's counsel about the issue, and their numbers don't seem to add up. So again, I think I'll be able to report shortly that it's resolved, but we just have to make sure we get the information to satisfy Jay.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, next we're going to move on to resolutions. 2025 R-43 authorizes and permits a Good Day for a Run LLC to conduct a 5K race. Do we have a date on that, Sue?
That'll be June 8th, 2025. It'll, I believe it's beginning and ending at Valentine Winery. And they always ask for Connect Road to be closed to traffic from 206 to Dingletown Athletic Fields during the event, which they expect it to be 8:45 to 10:15 on Sunday, the 8th of June. They've run this probably about the 4th or 5th year they've run this, maybe more. Usually John Lyons works with them. I know they submit the proper documentation for him to review, and he gets the CERT team out there, and fire police sometimes necessary to make sure that road gets closed. He also works with the families along that road, and notifying them as well and helping them if they have to get out with a emergency or whatever.
Yeah, John has been very good about that, and this is a great event, so,
That does require a township committee approval.
yep. So if, anyone's in favor of a motion of 2025 R-43,
I'll make a motion.
thank you.
I'll second it.
You put an address in. Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Ms. Macias?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Decreci?
Yes, next is 2025 R-44, which is the gypsy moth declared a nuisance.
If anybody remembers back in, about 2007, 2008, when we were being defoliated by these, we had to pass this resolution in order to qualify for the state to come out and do the spraying. In addition to that, we'll be having advertisements going out. We'll have public notices for the treatment going out to residents within 200 feet of the treatment area, which is about 35 acres. We have a notice on our township website within the township calendar, so that you click on it, it just drops down all kinds of information. It's linked to the state. And the treatment area is on Route 206, north of East Oaks Road, between there and the Pick.
Okay.
Both sides of.
Yeah, in 08, it was a horrible problem. Many of us lost a lot of trees in Stony Creek and surrounding areas. So now they've limited it and they've got it, I think, under control. So I think it's and it's not going to cost us anything. Is that correct?
No, it was about $2,300. We budgeted $2,500, so we're well within our budget. And then this is the next step, is to approve this resolution, and then they even do this now with GPS and all. We don't even have to set up balloons like we did back in 08. The guys had to be out there and help identify the areas for them. So everything just GPS coordinates for the plan.
We got it. Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
I will gladly make a motion to declare gypsy moths a nuisance.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Ms. Macias?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Decreci?
Yes, next is a blanket motion for 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 2025 R-45, 46, 47, 48. It's authorizing a refund of property taxes for a totally disabled veteran for block 20.05 lot 2, block 6, block 6 lot 5, block 6 lot 10.04, and block 23.01 lot 36.04. Just to refresh everybody's recollection, if you're a total disabled veteran, you get excused from paying property taxes. We've been asking, we love that whole program, but in towns like ours, we're getting pounded. So we've asked the governor numerous times if they would address that issue and provide some state funding. But until that time, we're still coming out of pocket, which of course affects all of us who are not veterans, makes it that much more difficult. But with that said, if there are no questions or comments, can we have a motion in favor?
And just to be clear too, on each one of these, they've paid their taxes and the approval comes in after they make payment, so there's some refunds
Right.
included in those
Thank you.
resolutions.
I'll make a motion to pass the blanket motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Ms. Macias?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Decreci?
I vote yes. Next is 2025 R-49, which is emergency temporary budget appropriation.
So outlined here are a number of items that we are prefaces that our temporary budget is set to cover the first quarter. We're at the end of the first quarter, so we're looking at funding for the next quarter, anticipating when the budget would hopefully be passed by, knowing it's a review year. It's a total amendment of $284,500. And mainly this is primarily some utilities, salaries, wages, and some health benefits and insurances. That is primarily driving that for the next quarter.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second it.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Ms. Macias?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Decreci?
Yes, next 2025 R-50, which is approval of a contract for use of the Delanco fire truck, which was necessitated by, Charlie?
We had a discussion with Sue today. We got that straightened out. I think it's all approved. Just waiting for cars to come in and get the truck fixed.
So this was caused by somebody running into our truck while it was out for a call?
We're going to call down Route 206, making a right on Flat Road, and somebody ran into the back of our truck.
Okay.
He was, something was wrong with him. I don't know what it was. He ended up going to the hospital, not from the accident, but from.
Whatever he was suffering from, covered by insurance?
Yes, I guess, there's a.
They're asking
discussion with Sue, there's $1,000 deductible, we're not sure how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
How no fault works.
Yeah, and so we're working with Jeff to get that covered by the person who caused the accident, which
Right.
you would expect to happen. So we're working on that. We, Jeff, I think is appreciative that the Indian Mills Volunteer Fire Company and Lanco have worked together, so they don't have to go out and rent them a truck during this time frame.
Great.
And
Okay.
it was nice that Lanco stepped up and made this available, anticipating needing it for probably a 2-week period, and we don't expect it to be longer than that.
The damage was minimal, but it was over $13,000 for the damage.
Wow. Okay, thanks for,
Still in operation.
got it. Thanks for the update. Any questions or comments of Charlie or Sue? If not, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
A second.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Mazitas,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Gochi.
I vote yes. No ordinance this evening. Next is always the fun part of the night, where approval of the attached bill list, which this month is $1,545,957.24. And as I often say, if there's no motion, the bills don't get paid.
I'll make a motion.
I like the pregnant pause.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Mazitas,
Yes.
Mr. Gochi.
I vote yes. Next, we move to our reports from our township engineer, Doug Heinold. Nice glasses. They're new.
Township engineer, Joe.
Oh, township engineer. No, wow, that's so, I was so enamored by the glasses. Next, sorry, Joe. Joe Hirsch, go ahead.
Okay, I had a couple updates. I gave you guys each a copy of my report. As far as the annual stormwater report and your compliance with the PRA requirements, I'm working with Sue to finalize the report. It's due on May 1st. We shouldn't have any issue meeting that deadline. On the second page, I have a few updates there. Phase 3 of Ed Sign Road, you may see our survey crew out there, or have seen them out there. Once we get plans for that, we'll start the design and get it to DOT for approval to bid. So we'll try and get that project moving along as quick as we can. Public Works, on item number 8, Public Works is doing some maintenance work at the Indian Mills Lake Dam. Once that's completed, then we'll do our formal inspection. Let's do again this year. The item number 9 is the work at Dingletown Park that's contracted. I spoke to them today. We have a pre-construction meeting set up for next week on the 9th. So once we have that meeting, they can get started. Contracts are signed and ready to go. Item 10 is the 2025 local rec improvement grant, which is for some field improvements and drainage improvements at the park as well. And we applied for $100,000. Typically, they awarded in June, so hopefully we'll hear about that soon.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Welcome back.
Appreciate it.
We'll miss Anthony and congratulate him on his new job at Amtrak, and we're happy to see you back.
Thanks.
And now to our illustrious solicitor.
It's so disappointing because I already gave my report on the
Well-
horn, so I've got nothing for that. We do have executive session items that we've got a few things to talk about in executive.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doug. Township Administrator Sue Honorado, good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to remember everybody, we have our spring brush pickup Monday, April the 7th. Reminder to see the township website for the rules. Everything needs to be bundled up and ready by 6 a.m. Our rabies clinic will be held at the Indian Mills Memorial School on Saturday, the 26th of April from 9 to 11. And the Pinelands Gravel Park motorcycle ride will take place on Sunday, May 4th. They'll be utilizing Tuckerton Road from approximately 8 to 11. At Sign Day for the Indian Mills Historical Society will be taking place on May 3rd, and they're also going to do that at the Indian Mills Memorial School. And PSC&G has notified the township that they'll be doing their tree trimming and so forth, and doing some selective herbicide underneath their transmission lines. Anybody that's directly related to that, they'll get a door hanger at a minimum and get further notice, but they've met our notice requirements for now.
All right, great. Will Dr. Dazen be doing the rabies clinic again this year?
Yes, you will.
All right, please give him my regards. I'll probably stop over as well. All right, next, we're going to open the meeting back up to public comment. Anybody have anything to say? Please come forward and you will be heard. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we'll close the meeting to public comment. And we need a motion to go into executive session. Just for members of the public, we're going to go into executive session. If we take any action, we'll come back out and report that, but we don't anticipate at this point that we're going to make any, what's the word?
We won't be taking
Executive
any formal
decision,
action,
any formal action.
After we reconvene.
Yep. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. You're welcome to stay if you like.
I do need a motion to go into executive.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Thank you, ladies.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond?
Yes.
Mr. Okochi?
Yes. Good evening.